Alright, welcome back to another Play and Explain. This is a continuation from the last video. What's it called? Worst intro ever. This is a continuation from the last video. Right after it, where we're playing 5 tables of 500 and 1 table of 1k. The light blue people are tagged recreational, everyone else is basically reg. The tags are so meaningless for me, I just tag people because I'm mad at them. Or they're my friends. And I'm probably not gonna, I mean, if you guys paid attention throughout the video, I mean, I'm pretty sure I show like a bunch of stuff because I don't really care. Like, I probably accidentally show what the tags names are and stuff, and people might get offended. It's just, I don't know. It's weird knowing that people can see like your opinions and stuff. I don't know how to explain it. Because for me, it's like I just put so little effort into caring about any of it. I'm gonna check back here at the double low board. Sometimes we can hope our opponent has jacks here. I don't mind the 1/3 here. You can almost like value bet king queen. He's just gonna be drastically overfolding. And this is a board where you really, once the ace pairs and he checks twice, because think about it, ace deuce is a range bet, ace 5 is a range bet, ace 5 deuce isn't. So when that turn pairs and he checks again, you basically can range bet into him. Except that's an easy way to explain it. Oh. Yeah, let me know what you guys would like to see content-wise, as always, in the comments. I know I can say that like every video, but I'm just trying to emphasize that I really am down for. I see a lot of people say 4 tables, and I'm down to do stuff like that at some point. Right now, I'm just focusing on recording a lot of videos for you guys. And while I'm actually working, in the sense of like this is what I usually do throughout the day, and then I think I'm in the future when I get enough videos recording and I'm far enough ahead so I don't have to spend all my time editing. And just recording videos. Like I don't have the stress of like, oh, tomorrow if I don't play today, I'm not gonna have a video. Sometimes I don't want to record because the pool's not very good for recording. Right now, the games aren't that good, or they're like pretty decent. I mean, these regs aren't the greatest, but it's like there's a full reg table as far as like my pool regs go. Good flop. Yeah. So sometimes that like not always the best time for recording, etc. But when I get further ahead, I can take the time out of my day to record a 4-table video for an hour, edit the times where not much is going on, etc. Here, when he sizes up big, I don't expect him to have any folds, but my hand has enough equity that I don't mind building the pot. I'm going to be dominating some of these flush draws that he might be bet 75ing. Oh. He had folds. So I go for like the crazy aces trap here. I don't know if this is a call. Okay, from these positions, I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. Just gonna be bumping it up. Hoping to get shoved on. Wait, they're supposed to have kings into kings here. What happened? I don't mind block here. Opponent calls ace-x. Most of the time. In the sense of like, if you were betting big here and folding out ace-x, it's kind of bad because you're ruining your chance to make a lot of money. Because poker is not all about winning the flop or the pods. It's about making the most money, right? So if you make like 40 big blinds here when he has ace king and an ace comes off, obviously I'm not saying you would, but it's just an example of 30 big blinds, then folding it out for another amount isn't necessarily the best. But I think he's going to be has to continue a good amount. And if he's not folding and I'm block betting, then I should just start block betting everything. In general, I'd say a lot of these people have weaker checking ranges. And yeah, they might have some traps in their checking range. Then he might check back some top pair. But if he's not checking back enough good stuff, enough straight draws, enough like jack 9, he's going to have a tough time. If he's really polarized to like decent hand or just a trap on the flop, then the 1/3 is the best way to attack that if you think about it, right? I mean, both strategies work. I mean, generally just over c-betting, and it's easier to have an less punishable c-betting strategy. When he says it's to 9, I'm going to call the ace-queen on a 3. I don't think I want to fold it. I'm trying to think here if he bets, I could just jam. Double bad suit here. He might go for the check jam, but I think I have to call off, so I don't know how much I like it. But we don't really... We block some ace-10. I'm going to check here. Oof. I don't know how this is working out for me. Kind of a nice hand to jam, to be honest. We don't block queen 10. And that actually is pretty relevant. So, if we had... Yeah, and then at the same time, you should just take queen jack. I think the spot's overfolded, but I'm not going to get so out of line with this hand. Like, if we had the queen of spades, I could consider it. Queen of spades and queen of hearts. Because then we're blocking queen 10 suited. We're just a little bit extra. And queen 10 suited is one of the more common hands that could play this way, right? Like, there's nothing that I think if you had queen 10 suited and you were just to play without like a mixing or anything, like that's how the hand would want to play, right? In the sense of like you're gonna want to check flop at a good rate. If you check call, turn comes off a 10, you're like, oh, you have a good hand, but it goes check check. River, you hit a full house, you bet for value because like the king is a straight, and I don't want to jam unless I block that. He's gonna have a lot of pocket pairs here with the spade. I don't mind raising him. You can do either here. I'm gonna go for the raise because it's a... There's two different straight combos. Gonna be a little more careful on turn now. I'm gonna check. I think in theory you can just barrel through with this though. He's supposed to call wide enough. If he jams, probably call it a frequency. Because the thing is, we're not going to have a hand here with a 10. How do I say this? Okay, so if he jams here, right? Like, okay, what's your best bluff catcher? A 10. Or a king. I'd say king queen. But most of our range that we want to play this way, that's value, that isn't a straight. So keep in mind that isn't a straight, isn't going to have a 10. So then you call after that, and I like the idea of having queen jack. The best two pair combo. And I'm blocking pretty much bluffs. I mean, in general, like if he has a hand like jack 10, should he turn into a bluff or just call it? Probably more so call it, right? Like 10-9 is where you want to start. Pocket 10s, obviously, but getting into like bluff territory maybe. I don't think he's going to be half potting pocket 10s or 10-9, so then kind of gets into like what the fuck does this guy have. Ace king makes sense. Is he jamming ace king? Pocket kings makes sense. But if you think about it logically, obviously a solver is probably going to give you something different than pocket kings. I'd probably prefer to call them and stuff. Obviously pocket kings is better than jack 10, but the issue is a lot of people just don't even see bet for half pot jack 10. I call here, it's mainly a call. When he goes to 10, he doesn't go to 13 or something. This also isn't a 3 bet, I just auto pot. I didn't think I was on the bottom because I went to 12. I just wasn't paying attention. And here is the size. I don't think you really fold a pair in position. We're not out of position here, so we don't have to start folding actually strong hands. I'm just going to bet 20 here. He's going to have like ace jack, ace 10, ace king. And not to mention, people kind of don't really... this guy does build a check raising strat, but... Perfect. I mean, we have to value bet river. Even though he has like jack... I just want to check. I think I'm gonna check here, guys. It's too easy to play too many flushes like that. All the diamonds here are low. You can have so much queen, X of diamonds, ace king. You might be thinking, like, oh, you're so thin. You probably have to bet a 7. You have to bet a 7 here. And I'm thinking, like, you're probably right. But in general, I just don't expect to get called. Oh. This is a 3-bet, but it's not from these positions, I believe. It's only versus EP. And obviously checking back the sport. Actually, you could bet it, but on a 1. I can't imagine it's a pure bet. I find it to be a bad logic, because you guys should be probably picking the best combo. I mean, until you're like an actual master, you're not playing against people that are using your blockers against you. Like, oh, because when you play against the solver, it's gonna know like, oh, if he checks back the 5 of diamonds with the backdoor flush draw, then that means like if I have the 5 of diamonds in his check back range, or I don't know, explain it, then I'm gonna block almost all his flushes, you know, because he's betting all the other ones or stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? You get into like you can get counter blockered, but in reality, that's never happening. So you should be picking the combo that's probably the highest EV to pick the other action. Or like basically the higher frequency. It's just going to make it easier for you to understand and play a solid strategy in the long run. I'm obviously going to have to reopen this river. I would say, I think he thinks I'm under bluffing the spot, which is completely fair. Because it's not a pretty spot to bluff. You don't really expect people to believe you, but that's exactly why like people do believe you. Got really philosophical there. Reading this pure. So yeah, I'm gonna try to put out some videos quick tonight. What time is it for me? 11:45. Because yeah. And I'm looking forward to, at some point, not yet. I currently don't track my results at all. I know that sounds like crazy, but I just don't. I play on 2 different computers, and most of my actions on GG, and I don't bother doing all the stuff where I upload it. And yeah, I use Poker Tracker at home, but it's like kind of bugged and shit. And then I think it's obviously enough to get a HUD and stuff, but I have trouble like uploading my hands from GG into it and stuff. So I plan on like just buying Hold'em Resource Manager or something so I can upload my results every month for you guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm not selling. A lot of people act like it's like a big deal that I don't post results. I don't really see the point in it, since I'm not selling anything. I'm not even claiming to be a savant that's going to teach you how to crush the games. I mean, maybe in the titles, but come on, those are just the titles of the videos. And it's more like just like how to play versus the big blind. It's not like. Here, I think it just makes money to bet. Never mind. Drastic misplay. Punting EV. Crazy spot. This guy just always has it. Does this guy not know? Just bingo's a full house versus me earlier. Or a straight, sorry. I wish I check raise flop. It is a good flop to check raise because I was going to have a lot of draws and stuff. And I imagine ace 9 is probably pretty good to get in there. And he might have jammed on me and stuff. So it would have been nice. But gonna call. Alright, let's not run into a straight here. Can do either here. I imagine I just mostly want to call though. If he checks here, I'm trying to think if he bets at like half pot again. Because it's enough to make the. This is a spot where you're gonna have a lot. I'm gonna have a lot of ace highs here. And half pot's a better size, I think, of making those indifferent. I could be wrong. He goes with it. Mainly just calling. I don't think we need to play any raises here. I mean, obviously sucks when you get 2-outed, but just gonna call. And hopefully he doesn't have the queens. He has no queen 9 suited, which is nice. his line. He doesn't block any ace 9 suited. He doesn't block any jack 9 suited. He just sent it. Which, to be fair, a lot of people might look at this and they might just be like, oh my god, like what a clown, like he's wailing out. I mean, it's easy to say that when I have 10-9 suited. You guys don't see the times where I have like, if I'm overfolding the spot, if I'm never calling any bluff catchers and stuff like that. It's really easy to look at a spot and criticize your opponent's bluffing. Obviously, I'm more likely to have this hand, but he didn't even have a 10 or a 9, so I'm at a 10. It's not like he had ace 10 with the 10 of clubs or something. In general, though, it's easy to criticize your opponent for over bluffing, but you never know. Maybe he's got me in that type of spot so many times. Because it's mainly, I mean, obviously blocking your opponent's snap calls is important and unblocking folds, but in this spot I will say, for what it's worth, if your opponent's overfolding, you can probably just bet any two by the river. And maybe he thinks I'm overfolding the line. I like to think I'm pretty close to understanding what I'm supposed to do, outside of when I'm reverse exploiting someone. Also, I'm just a fucking station, man, let's be honest. You guys see these videos. Actually, you guys see me make some nitty folds, but when I'm recording, I'm pretty... For what it's worth, though, if I had a queen on this river, I would probably be sweating. Like, when he jammed, I thought he had... Like, I didn't think he would bluff this board at all, but... And I'm not gonna have that much 9x, right? It's gonna be... It's mainly just supposed to be, like... I don't even know if Jack 9's defending. I don't know what size you went to pre-flop. Yeah, you went to a decent size, so... Oh, I'm supposed to go bigger. Fuck. He's gonna pure call. I don't know how much I like. I mean, you need to build a 5 betting range here. I don't know how much I like it though. With the non-king, with non-like anything good, I like just going to 10 big blinds here. Just to the fact that the runout's always going to be pretty shit for me. He might have 5s and 6s here. Ace 5 suited. If he raises, I probably just have to shove. That's a pretty good turn for me. I imagine this deep, I'm just going to B75 this turn. We're both going to have ace king. It's going to be double draw. This is a scary spot, honestly. Most rivers are pretty shit, like this one. I'll review this spot. I have no clue to play this spot super deep. I don't really like half pot though, because... Yeah, I honestly don't even mind overbets. Just gonna go for value twice here now in this spot. He's gonna have a lot of worse ace-X. I don't mind overbet here in general. He's pretty capped, right? I mean, his best hand here is pretty much ace 5. Is he checking back ace 8? So, like, if you're gonna bluff this spot, the thing is I kind of want to get called. And I think the value bet's gonna perform better as a B75. I know that sounds bad, because it's like, oh, I'm imbalanced. I do think if you bluff this spot, though, you probably want to go with an overbet to make more hands like this indifferent. In theory, because I just expect him to not have an 8 too often. So when he calls turn, too much of his range is going to be an ace. So if you really want to bluff that, you're going to have to make an ace indifferent. And what's the size that's going to make an ace indifferent? It's going to be above the pot, right? And obviously you're going to have a bunch of bluffs, because you could just be wailing on that ace. So to go to this river here, I'd probably go like 2x pot or something, to be honest. I really just think your opponent, unless you bingoed ace 5, he's so capped. I don't know if it's a call or not. I just know we're super deep out of position, and he's sized like 9 big blinds bigger than me. Obviously we can like bingo him, but it's like not even that appealing. Like out of position, like I'm gonna have to check raise barrel off in a spot where like, yeah, I don't think I have to call pure. And if I do, like I don't mind exploitively overfolding a little. King 9 suited here. Gonna just fold it. I'm recording 20 minutes already. Jeez. Time flies. When you're having fun. Let's check how long I've been playing. Oh, I haven't. I'm playing the 1K since the start. Playing 2 hours so far. Not been playing the 1K since the start. Where's this guy? I'm tempted to defend this. He's opening A really wide and he's going to make a lot of mistakes. Depending on his size here, I'll raise or not. Versus this size, I expect him to be a little stronger, so I'm going to just call and evaluate. Obviously just calling again here. Probably donking on, jamming on a 9. On a 4, I'll check. I probably should have jammed or something. Yeah, you just had 9-6. A 9 would have been money, eh? Probably should have donk jammed. I imagine if you were to look at it, it probably makes more money. Like, do people, is he really, I don't think he has bluffs. So then, why wouldn't I just go for the glory? Not jam, but just lead. ISOing here, he's gonna miss the board a lot. I'm just gonna see bet at a high frequency. Nothing does this guy open. He has a low PFR, not gonna get, no reason to get too crazy. Here, gonna go for the overbet with this hand. I don't think we're really checking back top. Another check back hands like queen 6. Suited if we're gonna trap some sets. Pretty bad card. And it's not even like an over. Like if this was like 9-8 in a king game, you could start c-betting hands like this. I don't know what's going on here. You could start c-betting hands like this, but the thing is he's actually gonna have a good amount of king x's played. And here I'm just gonna fold. Not a high enough number. And now we just never win, except we beat like some worse queen x, hopefully. Yeah, he bingo. That's one of the hands I was talking about. I'm also talking about he's gonna have king 10, maybe king 9, king jack, king x suited. Like the king is connects with a lot of his range that calls the overbet. And yeah, we could put a lot of pressure on him, but I think this hand particularly doesn't mind just checking. Also, not to mention he's going to be defending hands like 10-9 now that get there with the straight. Ace 10. On an 88, I'll open it. This hand's close, but I will be defending here. Pretty good flop for the good guy. Opponent definitely has to build checks here. We're gonna have king 10 all at a pretty good rate. I like the block here. I think it plays well. I think people aren't disciplined enough with their betting range. Probably double block. If I'm gonna make some mistakes, please forgive me. I'm pretty tired. It's pretty late. I'm gonna be leading this one. Just want to have a pretty good leading candidate, even though we rolled a pretty low number. Range check here for me, especially with the double bad suit. This is just like a classic give up. Oh, for some reason I was the overbet here, just gonna be folding. Yeah, my opponent might have some ace-x bluffs, king-eye bluffs, but in general, those hands can follow through. I don't see the point of defending my hand. First that, we're gonna have a lot of strong hands in that spot. Going to be just handing him the pot here. Probably record a couple more hands here and then wrap up the video. I don't know how interesting this one's been, to be honest. I think it's had some interesting spots. I'm just I don't think I'm talking too interesting. Actually, we can maybe open. These guys are kind of nitty. I'm just gonna be range betting here versus the fish with a 70 V pip on like a good board for me. I think it's pretty obvious why 1/3 makes money. I wouldn't say it's like a range bet per se. Like I could consider checking back like a jack here, for example. But it's because you don't need to have a balanced strategy versus a fish, so a range bet's a bad idea. I actually just think playing 1/3 on this board is gonna make the most money with this hand in this spot versus this guy. I don't know why I'm explaining it like that. Because versus the fish, you don't need to get into the mindset of, oh, like I bet this when I'm trying to bet this when I'm wait. Like you just gotta realize like it's kind of cool to think that way, but it doesn't. They're not on that level. I want him to call here because he's gonna call with a little worse stuff. I'll go with the 4x. If you had like king queen or something, you can go the 6x or something because you'd rather make him call when he has a hand that's dominated or something. Definitely gonna be calling this spot. Gonna could be calling here. I don't think we can fold a 3 or a pair. That is gonna be calling again. Is he limping an ace? I don't think. I guess I'm just gonna call here. I will say I don't know if it's really bluffed. This is close. Tempted to fold, but we'll see. So sick. How much equity does this guy have like on the flop? I can't believe he even big bets turn. It's so gross, man. Did we just get that shit on? Should have gone to 6x. Goes around to like 3 cards on the flop. And then he has to fade it on the river. It's just so sick. And if the ace doesn't pair, I'd probably get away from it too. I'm sorry, it's that time of the night where I stop talking about my bad beat stories versus fish, but just annoying. I will say the size isn't too overbluffed. I just really didn't believe he had an ace in his limping range. It's a guy who's, I don't know, blind versus blind. Sorry if I'm talking kind of quiet, it is late. But yeah. Oof. How long have I been recording now? 27 minutes. Record for a bit longer. Get stacked a bit more. I'm gonna check it back here on a 6. Could do either, but just right under the jack probably. It's a pretty good candidate. Go for the 1/3 here with this hand. I think this is a check. Actually, I'm gonna go thin. I think he would block bet his jack X on the river here versus me. Gonna call again versus the half pot. I'm just gonna call here because it's just too good of a price, and this is an overbluff. I don't really think he's bluffing really, but oh, perfect. Just the price, obviously, just not gonna fold a pair here in position, or a pair like 9s. Damn, what a good spot. Gonna call here. Good raise. I don't mind it. Gonna do it. We're gonna have ace king here at a frequency. So, yeah, we're gonna have 6s at a frequency. And then obviously it's pretty easy to just find some airball backdoor flush shove bluffs given that we are in position. It's like, that's the thing about bluffing flop in position. It's like, it makes less sense in theory because like, you can get all the value in by the river anyway, but at the same time it also makes sense in the sense if you, let's say I'm 3-betting hand like queen jack of hearts here, now I can just check back and see if my opponent calls 10s, or queen jack of diamonds here and my opponent had 10s here, then I can check back and see if I hit. What an spot. I mean, I don't think we released anything but quads, right? King 6 suited. If it's 10%, I mean, this is a quads line. Do I shove? I don't think so. I still think he's gonna rip in a good king, like ace king here. I just want to raise to a size where he might call like aces. Yeah, or that. So like think about it. Like if you're too focused on making 40 bigs extra when they have a king, when they might be just calling all their other. Dude, this guy is like the luckiest guy ever versus me. Call me a luck box. This guy lives rent-free in my head from all the all-ins he's won versus me in my life. Because he's a run-at-once guy. Just gonna be folding here. Here I flat the small. Did I just flat the small? Well, I don't mind leading on this board when you flat the small. Probably better to like overbet lead though. Because you're basically wrapping 3s or deuces or 5-4 when you lead. You just have it more often. So I don't mind like overbet bluffing with 8s with the spade here, kind of like a merge type thing. But 8s without one, probably don't mind. Fold. Just gonna be folding though when he raises. Jamming. Okay, so we just want him to pocket queens. Here with the diamond, just gonna go with the check. Good 4-bet off this hand, but here when he does this, I'm gonna whale out because it just looks like I'm whaling. I think if he has a, I don't know. The issue, you guys think like, oh, you have aces, and you block the calling range, whatever. When he does this for this size here, I really just don't expect him to bluff river. I'm expecting him to have a hand like king queen, trying to see a cheap river, like jacks, and he's just trying to like protect, like I don't know, or he has like a certain draw, right? So I'd rather just raise and kind of get him to level himself. I honestly like the idea of on this river I would have checked my hand to get him to bluff some of these hands, like Jack 10, King Jack. But I think versus this small ass sizing, I don't want to just call. I don't expect him to bluff river too often. Obviously deep down I was hoping he had pocket queens and river to queen, so I could eat my bad beat jackpot. Gonna be calling pure here with the king queen of hearts and whiffing the flop. Gonna be a pure fold for me. I don't know, on that number maybe you can start raising because you unblock some calls. And you're unblocking like jacks that might fold, but I don't know. I don't really like the idea of raising here too much. Like your opponent, when the ace is a spade here, if you have 8s, 5s, like you're just gonna call, right? If you have ace 5, you maybe you want to fast play ace 5, but probably make more money from calling. So here I call 3-bet. I'm just gonna fold this one out as well. Too many bad cards for you. Even a 10's bad. It's like, yeah. And it's one of those boards that even when you bingo a 5, you're not always winning. Because they have 10s, they have Jack 10. They have one combo of jacks. They're also like less likely to pay you because there's already trip jacks on the board. At like a decent part of the range. Anyway, I think we got our interesting hands. It's gonna be wrapping up the video, you guys. Unless this guy calls king queen suited here, second he folds. All right. See you guys in the next one.